Could this terrorist attack have been prevented? We've just found out 3 absolutely shocking revelations about the synagogue attacker, Jihad al-Shami. The first of those is that this man was on bail for an alleged rape. He wasn't remanded in custody and kept behind bars like Lucy Connolly was because she was deemed too dangerous to be out in the wild for a tweet. But this man was allowed to walk free. The second revelation, which we've just found out, is that an email was sent with his name, Jihad al-Shami. May have been another Jihad al-Shami, but it is likely that he is the man that sent an email to an MP saying, people like you deserve to die. A lot of people would call that a death threat. That was sent all the way back in 2012. But was this man referred to prevent? Was anything done to try and de-radicalise this man? No, not. And the other shocking revelation is about his family. We have now found out that the attacker's father praised the October 7th terrorist attack on his Facebook. He put up a Facebook post saying, men, Hamas, like these, prove they are Allah's men on earth. And he said that the Hamas terrorists prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Israel would be destroyed eventually. It does make you wonder, why were these people who came to the country from Syria, why were they allowed to come here, and why were they granted British citizenship, even if there was no knowledge of his views and exactly any radicalisation that the family may have experienced? When they have got a son who's called Jihad, does that not ring a slight bell to the Home Office when they're thinking about who to grant citizenship to? If I saw that a family is calling their children Jihad, I would be a little bit sceptical when it comes to deciding whether they should be given British citizenship, the right to come and stay in this country forever. They also were, or at least the father, was staying in social housing, so the taxpayer has been helping fund this man's accommodation. Alison Pearson has tweeted, that Islamist bastard was on bail for alleged rape. Lucy Connolly didn't get bail for a nasty tweet. Manchester synagogue terrorist was on bail for alleged rape. That is the headline that we are hearing. And Alison Pearson, who herself was investigated by 3 police forces for a tweet, is absolutely furious. It does beg the question, is this two-tier justice, and could this have been prevented? Should this man have been remanded in custody for an alleged rape, especially when his name is Jihad, and especially if they were aware by any chance that he may have been the man behind emails, threatening emails sent to an MP. Lucy Connolly was deemed too unsafe to allow out, but this guy allowed to walk the streets and then able to commit a terrorist attack. Darren Grimes says the Manchester synagogue terrorist was on police bail for alleged rape when he carried out the attack, but wasn't known to the security services. Not being funny, but if you call your kid Jihad and he's suspected of rape, then why on God's earth would they not monitor him? Exactly. I mean, the name is a huge, huge red flag. I think you really do have to question when you've got someone asking, can we have British citizenship? Can we have passports? Can we stay in this country? And also, can we have bail if we've allegedly raped somebody? You've got to look at that name and think, why did the parents give the child that name? Is it because they are radicalised? Is it because they hate the West and they want it to be taken down, and they want Israel and all the Jews to be taken down? It's a simple question if you're working in the Home Office or you are the one deciding whether this guy gets bail or not. Kathy Gingle, don't know if I've said that right, and they say there is not two-tier justice. Manchester synagogue terrorist on police bail for alleged rape, and he is also believed, folks, to have other criminal convictions. If it was the first time he'd ever been referred to the police and they decided to give him bail and there was an alleged rape without any detail or evidence, then maybe you could understand. But when his name is jihad and he has other criminal convictions. Why would you not remand him in custody? This terrorist attack potentially could have been prevented if this man was behind bars, remanded in custody after he was reported to the police for allegedly raping an individual. And Neoberg says, in other words, the terrorist was free to carry out the attack because the British state doesn't care about rape victims or the safety of women. Had Jihad, the alleged rapist, been treated like Lucy Connolly was for a mean tweet yesterday, would have never happened. Insanity. And this is what really, really infuriates people. Every time we have some sort of attack and people can see that it could potentially have been prevented, there's a lot of frustration and anger. We've seen David Lammy being heckled when he went to go speak at a vigil because so many people feel like something could have been done to stop this happening. I think in David Lammy's case, they're thinking something could have been done to stop the horrendous rhetoric about Israel and the Jews on the marches we see every single Saturday. But in this case that we're talking about here, people are thinking, these people didn't have to be in the country in the first place. We welcome them in with open arms, even though the parents had named their child Jihad. Why didn't the Home Office take some issue with that and ask some questions about why on earth you would name a child Jihad? Then we find out that this man potentially has other criminal convictions. Why was he still in the country after having other criminal convictions? Why don't we have a system where if you break the law in this country and you're convicted of a crime and you're not from this country, that you were kicked out? Why were they granted citizenship? Why was this man granted bail rather than being remanded in custody after allegedly raping somebody? There are a lot of questions to be asked, and it does make people think, could this have been prevented? And there are so many other cases like this. Axel Ruder Cabana, people think, could this have been prevented? Because this boy was referred to the Prevent program 3 times. Axel Ruder Cabana was. If they had actually done something with him and sorted the boy out and either kept him where he could be monitored or attempted to de-radicalise him, then the 3 beautiful little girls that died in Southport last year maybe would still be with us today enjoying their childhoods. We've had cases with Manchester Arena bombing, with the Liverpool Women's Hospital, and various cases where the people who have committed the attacks, you do think, did they need to be in this country? Could we have prevented this? But these things keep on happening. Okay, David Amos, we've had Katie Amos tweeting in memory of her father, asking questions after yesterday's attack. She doesn't think that the work has been done to change the Prevent program to make sure we pinpoint and de-radicalise people appropriately. I believe David Amos's killer, Prevent, he was referred to them and they just took him for a coffee once and left it at that. And then he went on to kill David Amos. David Amos potentially would still be with us today if Prevent had taken that man's case seriously. There are a lot of questions to be asked as to whether this could have been prevented. That is the latest update on that horrific terrorist attack we saw take place at a synagogue in Manchester yesterday. I'm Chloe Dobbs. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure you hit subscribe down below if you want to have more news updates like this.